Hello everyone, today we're going to take a look at Aliens on 4K Blu-ray. In this video, I'll do an unboxing, walk through the specs, and I'll give you my thoughts about how this movie presented in my home theater and my thoughts about the movie itself. Starting with the movie specs, Aliens released in 1986 by 20th Century Fox, which is currently owned by Disney. It's rated R, runtime is 2 hours and 17 minutes. It comes in a slipcover and includes the 4K Blu-ray, standard Blu-ray, and the digital copy. Aspect ratio is 1.85 by 1. Audio is in English, Spanish, and French. There are a few English tracks to choose from. I chose Dolby Atmos. English, French, and Spanish subtitles are available. Dolby Vision is also available for those with a capable display. For this review, because I'm in my home theater with my projector, I'll be watching in HDR10. I remember seeing this movie as a kid for the first time one weekend on regular broadcast TV, and it just gave me the creeps. It didn't necessarily scare me, but it made me so uncomfortable and anxious, but in a good way. Alien and Aliens were probably my first real introduction to both creature movies and space-based science fiction movies. I saw other space movies and creature movies, but Alien and Aliens hit me just right. And I've never been a horror movie fan, but these movies really worked for me. Everything, the look and the nature of the alien, the action scenes, the story, the history, the climax, the acting. High-level summary, Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley is back traveling with a special forces team to a planet that's been out of contact for some time. And of course, this isn't exactly a spoiler. They encounter the same vicious alien that Ripley encountered in the first Alien movie. This movie is definitely a ride. Lots of 80s cheese. The special forces team is pretty over the top, which is really in stark contrast to Sigourney Weaver's character, who is completely no nonsense, grounded, not flashy. She is suffering from some PTSD brought on by the events of the first movie, which was a factor in her joining the special forces team. Sigourney Weaver's character and her performance is the best part of this movie. For me, Ripley is an iconic movie protagonist. Aliens clocks in right around 2 hours and 17 minutes. I don't mind long movies at all as long as they're well paced and it's necessary to tell the story. And I was just fine with the runtime, whether the movie is 90 minutes, 180 minutes, or whatever. Just don't add fluff. Make every minute meaningful and just entertain me. And Aliens is entertaining from start to finish. Definitely not for the whole family. There are some brutal scenes in this, and some of the imagery might be frightening and intense for little ones and folks that might be a bit more sensitive to it. Something to be aware of going into this if you haven't seen it. Overall, I give the movie a 3.5. Regarding video quality, I thought contrast in HDR worked very well. There is depth and a richness to the picture. Not a colorful movie, but the colors that are there are rich. Scenes with bright lights and spectral highlights really pop. Dark scenes, which there are plenty, had good detail. Blacks weren't super deep, but I'm nitpicking. They were respectable enough. The practical effects, set design, and alien costumes and models looked great. CGI for the time was okay. Obviously not up to today's standards, but nothing especially egregious for 1986. I expected to see some grain in this one, but really not much there at all. It's pretty clean, whether it's there or not, and to what degree has never been a major issue for me in any movie. As long as whatever grain is there isn't flickering, fluttering, or moving all around, I ultimately want a pleasing picture, which for me means detail, depth, contrast, and stability, and Aliens largely delivers. Some moments did look a little softer and smoother than others, but overall, Aliens delivered on video quality. I give it a 3.5. The audio was very good. My expectations were a little high going into this, so I was expecting more separation, more volume, more dynamics, more LFE. I got it all, just not to the degree I expected. Don't get me wrong, there's good separation. The surrounds and overhead speakers were active enough, just not as pronounced as I expected. The main con for me was the LFE. It didn't hit as deep, and the rumble that was there wasn't especially strong, but everything else was very good. Over the past 3 months, I've been in my home theater almost daily demoing and watching some of my favorite reference quality movies. The audio for Aliens is solid, not reference quality, but solid overall. I give it a 3. I enjoyed this watch. For me, overall, it's a good release. This one may be hit or miss for some folks, depending on how sensitive you are to how the video remastering was handled. For me, this release delivered. I'm glad it's in my collection. It's a rewatchable movie for me, so I can watch it with some frequency and enjoy it. For me, overall, it's a good release.